Hi everyone, welcome to the Footy Focus podcast, ep003. This is Shez and Nax here with you. One of us is a year older and the other one's got a fresh haircut.
Oh yeah, shout out to you. Turned 30 over the weekend, so...
I thought we weren't going to disclose my age. All right.
Good turtleneck.
Anyway, thank you. We managed to... It was actually a Footy podcast launch as well.
Yeah, you told a few people about it, so we got pressure on to do it every week now.
Should have got that banner made.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do that for your 30th in a couple of months. So, as usual, we'll start off with non-footy related topic.
Yeah, so this is quite topical with the GOT or Game of Thrones season finale on Monday. I have a theory about this.
Shanika's Mr. Entertainment as well. So
Mr. Entertainment, okay. No, I have a...
it's very flamboyant for those who haven't seen it.
Okay, I stayed later than Sean for his birthday, but that's another story. Anyway, so GOT, it's probably an unpopular opinion. A lot of fans, obviously, that watch it. We know quite a few people that watch it and have watch parties on the Monday. So Monday was the series finale. I've never been a fan myself.
I have. I watched the first four. Yeah, I've seen the first 4 seasons, and I liked it, but didn't like it sort of enough to keep watching it. But I got to the episode where the Starks, they have a wedding. I didn't get to finish it, but
spoilers.
The wedding seemed pretty well, so I'm sure it turned out pretty well. But yeah, keep going.
Oh wow, I didn't know you watched this. That's the end of the friendship. Yeah. So the first 7 seasons were pretty highly rated, over 90% rated. The final season has come in for heavy criticism. Even 450,000 fans have signed a petition to even remake the final season.
That's not going to happen, no.
Well, the budget was 90 million for that season. So,
6 episodes or something, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The current season was sitting at 71% fan approval. And there was another fans rating which they took, which was 42%. So, my theory, now, I've said this for a few years, been shut down a few times, but that's okay. I know a few people that at work who have confirmed my suspicions, and also people at the cricket club and even tennis as well.
This is going to be controversial. I
wait for it.
it.
So I think a lot of so-called GOT fans watch and continue to watch, mostly because others watch it. It's sort of like the bandwagon effect. So it's a bit like how non-footy fans are people who don't even follow footy.
So are you talking about those supporters who jump on Hawthorn from a few years ago?
Hawthorn, Geelong,
jumping on Collingwood
Lions
now,
when they were
Tigers.
doing well.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I know the people.
Yeah, so it's a bit like how non-footy people, the people that don't watch footy at all, but they want to kind of feel involved at work when, bosses talk about it or...
Footy tipping and stuff.
Work colleagues and stuff. So they probably...
Do your work colleagues listen to this?
No, I should plug it, actually. I'll plug it.
Let's say something nice about it.
We've got a staff meeting next week, so I might mention it.
I love my work. Okay, yeah, keep going.
So yeah, that's my theory about it. You've obviously watched 4 episodes.
No, 4 seasons.
4 seasons?
Yeah.
Okay. So why didn't you continue to watch it?
I just couldn't be bothered. I lose track a bit, and then there's a few spoilers.
Too much nudity.
I'll get into it. No, maybe it's the greatest show ever, so I think...
The most highly rated show ever.
Yeah, so I'll get around to it. But anyway, that's enough of non-footy talk. I might do one for next week, so might discuss a movie or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
We'll go for that.
Should we get on to footy stuff?
Yeah, we're going to footy stuff. It's a bit non-footy related too. Tom Boyd.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Who is he? Do you want to tell everyone who he is?
Yeah, so he's a 23-year-old Western Bulldogs premiership player. Number 1 draft pick.
Was he drafted to the Bulldogs?
He was drafted number 1 to GWS.
I know this. I'm just asking Shanika for you guys.
So where was he drafted, Sean?
I think a Sydney team, but I can't remember.
Oh, GWS.
Yes, that's right.
You got me there. So the expansion club. So he retired last week. So it's not just footy related. He retired. He had a few injuries as well, but he had an ongoing mental health battle. Only played 61 games and kicked 50 goals, which doesn't sound like much of a career, but...
Yeah. But he won Bulldogs a flag pretty much, yeah?
Yeah, broke a...
Heroics.
Yeah, 52-year flag drought. Nearly the best on ground in the grand final and pretty close to in the prelim as well.
Yeah.
So
what happened? So why did he give up the game?
Yeah, so injury is probably a small part to play. I think mental health was the main part of it. I think, 23 years old, he's left probably 1.5 to 2 mil on the table as well.
Yeah, because he signed a 7-year. Did you say that? Yeah, 7 year.
So he
deal,
signed a
right?
7-year, $7 million
So he ends
deal.
it like 3-4 years to run on it. So
Yeah, so Jake Niall from The Age estimated he walked away from about $2 million. So yeah, it's a fair chunk that he's walking away from. Listen to his manager, Liam Pickering. He played for you guys, didn't he?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
He played cricket
but
too.
he's a prominent footy player manager.
Yeah, so he was on SEN the other day, and he didn't even know until late in the piece that Tom was struggling. I think it just proves that we know what the term is, the black dog. When it comes, he's on top of the world, won the premiership, probably top 5 players in the AFL, most valuable, and then goes through a mental health battle.
Yes, so pretty much this is a mental health topic we're talking about just at the start of this. So, so you non-footy followers can understand what sort of players go through. And another player who's had this going on with him, was ex-Brisbane and now delisted Essendon small forward Josh Green. So he admitted recently that he struggles with anxiety as well. Did you know that? Did you know about?
Was he on SEN or something like that?
He did an interview with Tim and Gary in the morning, and I listened to it, and it was really interesting because he comes out. He said that it feels like he's out of jail now that he's not in the AFL system anymore. He does appreciate the industry. He still reckons the AFL is good, but he just got trolled and bullied online.
So what were the things they were saying to him?
They were calling him like fat, and he's just shit and stuff after bad games. And do you know how they were getting to him? Like how they were contacting him?
No.
Like through DMs, like direct messaging through, I guess probably Instagram. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that's unacceptable. Like I know there's forums and stuff, public forums where you can criticize players.
Yeah, big footy or real footy.
Yeah, I've done that as well. I've criticized a lot of Kangaroo players, but I think just direct messaging them is going way too far. Don't you reckon? It's like, so
it's making an effort to.
Yeah, exactly. So he felt like, getting abused isn't. He just got to him. So in the end, he still goes to a therapist, and he still struggles with it. Yeah,
more than a year after he's retired too.
Yeah. So and also Gary Lyon was saying in the player contract they're allowed to get there's something called common criticism, which is okay, and that's by the media. But personal attacks from social media, that's not in their contract. So I reckon Josh Green has every right to like be upset at
that. Well, it's not just footy too, where the social, I guess, online social trolls really have an impact. It's celebrities, it's everyday people as well. I mean, all you need to do is look at the bottom of a YouTube clip video and see all the comments. It eventually turns personal. People criticising their children, mums, etc.
So for a young player coming through, this sort of criticism isn't healthy. Like I reckon even young draftees, highly rated ones, are getting criticised. What do you think they should do? Should they like not go on social media or not open direct messages?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, so getting off social media is probably key. I think a lot of players are switching off it now. But I think
that's what Josh Green was saying as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a use for it. I think you can make it private. You can disable comments. I think that's probably a key as well, because the fact that they can make comments and get attention from it, I think that's the key thing, because they want attention when they do these type of things.
Josh Green was saying Dane Beams. They used to be teammates and plays for Collingwood now. When he used to cop like abuse, he'd message the abusers and tell them how it was making him feel. And I think that's another good option. But I understand if you're getting a lot, then it's hard to contact him. So I just think people, they just gotta be mature and not direct message players.
Because they're humans at the end of the day. I mean, some of these kids are 18, 19 years old. I mean,
and
you
it's
never
a
know.
Workplace, yeah, exactly.
And you never know. You never know what people are struggling with. So I think that's a solution to it. But it's a good topic to talk
definitely.
about.
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to some other things. So back to Tom Boyd actually. He was a highly rated player and he went number 1. So, and I think this is a good segue to our next topic, which is tanking and that means losing games on purpose, so you get higher draft picks because you finish at the bottom. So sometimes it's no guarantee that high end picks are going to be guaranteed 200 game superstars. Like Tom Boyd, 23, and he's retired, and he went pick 1. So Do you want to talk about a bit about the
Yeah. So another plug for the NBA. So NBA, the draft lottery was last week. So they've changed.
Yeah, they do this so it reduces tanking. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that
So
the purpose?
they've kind of. I think a lot of people feel like they've disincentivized tanking, which is, it's a great, I guess, outcome. I think the AFL are using the US sports model when it comes to free agency and trading on draft night. I think the next step is to adopt this draft lottery model. In the past,
I don't know. I don't know about this, but why do you think it's good?
yeah. So instead of the worst team receiving the number one draft pick automatically, and it even happens in the NFL too. So it's another US sport that does it. So the bottom three teams, what they did was they made them all have only a 14% chance each of winning the number one pick. So before it used to be 100% for the number one team to get the number one pick. This time it was only 14% each of getting that number one pick. So in the end, might not happen this way next year, but the top three picks went to the 7th, 8th, and the number one worst team respectively. So the bottom three teams, they actually only won the 3rd, 5th, and 6th draft picks respectively. So the teams that tanked the most in the NBA, so like trading their best players early, putting them in for off-season surgeries and playing, backups essentially.
So it backfired almost.
Okay. Yeah, so it backfired on them.
So you can be the worst team, but you can still not get the first pick.
Yeah, well, it's really relevant this year because the number one draft pick this year is going to be a kid called Zion Williamson. So he's the most hyped draftee, since LeBron James. So
right, that's huge,
so it's a big prize, and the number one team's not going to get him unless they do a big trade or something like that. So how do you feel about that, Sean? Do you agree with my take?
I don't know. But just quickly, Golden State, they're into their 5th playoffs, yeah?
I was going to swear on
5th in a row, right?
Yeah, it's a 5th in a row.
That's ridiculous. Okay, who are they going to play in the final?
So, Bucks and Toronto, they're 2-2 at the moment.
TBA.
So
okay, maybe next week we'll know. Okay, I don't know. The draft lottery, I don't think it will work in the AFL system. Because I think it comes down to basketball essentially having 5 players on the field. So pick one, that's 20% of the players that play. Whereas AFL, there's 18, 22 if you include the bench. So that one player isn't going to make such a big impact. Whereas basketball, it will. So yeah, exactly. So just because of that, and then that sort of I can break it down even more, but it'll take the whole episode. But just to cut it short, I think. The AFL did get the priority picks. They got rid of that a few years ago. And I think culture in a footy club is more important than tanking. And that's proven after Carlton and Melbourne have done this in recent years. And they're still not getting anywhere. Whereas teams like Geelong, Hawthorn, Sydney, they haven't tanked, but their culture is strong enough. And they've been able to develop players regardless of where they're picked. Like James Warple's a perfect example of that so far. So, even though in theory, go.
I think even Sydney. So Sydney haven't tanked for 20 years.
Yeah, they
this season they've come down.
Yeah, and even then they're not doing too bad for one of the youngest teams. They were the youngest Sydney team since 1997, and they beat the Kangaroos, who were one of the older teams last week.
So what's changed with the priority picks now?
So back in the day when Collingwood got Pendlebury and Fremantle got Buddy, both those players were priority picks. They should have. In today's day, they wouldn't have got those players if the same thing had happened. Whereas if you only win 4 or less games for the year, you get the first pick in the draft, and then you get your ladder, and then it goes in reverse ladder order, so you can get pick 1 and 2. So they don't have that anymore. So I think it's more even, and I don't want to see this lottery system. The worst thing, oh shit, we're 14 minutes already. All right, we might just go on.
Cut that out.
Okay, so. What are you grateful for, Shanika?
Yeah, so Kane Collins, we'll try and tweet at him this week to get a response out of him. What I'm grateful for is that he's unafraid to criticise the Stars. Jordan hit Jordan Lewis up earlier this year, now it's danger. So he's saying he plays up his injuries too much. Said he had a source that told him the Crows had a word to him about the same thing back in the day. Now, I think Kane has every right to criticise Danger for that. The coach has called it the Danger Show. So Now, if he's wrong about the source telling him, then that's a different story. I'll retract, I guess, what I have to say. But he obviously has it on good word that he's been talked to by the playing group and coaches back in the day. Now,
Back with that when he played for Adelaide.
Back when he played for Adelaide. So I don't agree with everything he says. Like, I thought
there could be some truth to it. Like, he wouldn't go with it unless there wasn't any, like Kane, right? So
yeah, exactly. So he's ruining his reputation if he just comes out with that without any proof. So I don't agree with everything he says. I think the Jordan Lewis only playing for his super was a bit below the belt. But I think there's always an element of truth to what he says. Lewis is underperforming. If he wasn't injured like he is now, he probably would have been dropped. So, and he had a bad final series, bad prelim last year, and had a pretty slow start to the year. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah, it's probably his final, Lewis. I don't really have one. I didn't watch a lot of footy this week, but I think I'm just grateful that I had my birthday coincide with the Kangaroos and Sydney game, because that was a train wreck. Especially that second quarter where they kicked 7 goals to 2. A couple of the guys were saying when I was talking, giving my speech, that's when we lost the game. Like the siren went during that, so that's very that's turned out pretty well.
Again.
Yeah, but I'm grateful for the support we've been getting for this podcast. So so far, I've more and more listeners every week, and hopefully we'll have it on YouTube and Spotify for some of you guys
you plugged it
who are
enough,
too lazy to jump on the Buzzsprout website.
Well, you plugged it enough on the weekend, so
yes, okay. We also had some unofficial sponsors jump on board. So this next segment is brought to you by Officeworks, where lowest prices are an everyday thing. I think that's their tagline.
Yeah. So don't sue us, Officeworks.
So do you have any whose turn is it?
Yeah, so it's your question. So we'll do a few quick hits. So
very quick because we're like running out of time.
I've got to go home. So, who are the biggest threat for the premiership, the Eagles or the Tigers?
This is a really hard one. It's probably really even, but I'd say Tigers, but just their youth, they've been able to blood because of all the injuries. I think they're doing really well, and it just means they've got more depth now when Cochin and not Rams, but Rioli, Rewalt, they all come back. And it's really hard to go back to back, so that's why I'd say Tigers. Do you reckon Ben Reid from Collingwood stays in the side?
Yeah, I say no. I think Cox and the mix they have in the forward line at the moment with Lychek, Degoe, they've got a few others in there. I think Moore and Ruffhead are really solid down back at the moment. I don't see Ben Reid as playing on that monster that stays in the forward 50 like Ruffhead can. So I think he's a good depth player, so I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I tend to agree. Good for depth, but yeah.
And we'll go with you, Sean. So you think Adam Serra?
It's Adam Chera, I think, even though it's spelt Sarah.
Oh, sorry. And do you think him or
it's And yeah, go.
Okay, do you think him and
I've written the wrong thing.
No, you think him and Angus Brayshaw?
Andrew Brayshaw, sorry.
Andrew.
That's my
so not Angus, Andrew from Freo. You think they're doing enough as a high-end draft picks?
They're second-year players, and sometimes players do get second-year blues, but not at the moment. I don't know, maybe it's the system, but I watched the Freo game on the weekend, and they should be doing a bit more. But saying that, I don't think any of those top-end picks from last year or 2 years ago draft, they're not doing that well. Like, Rayner's been drifting in and out. Davies Uniacke's been dropped. He's been playing VFL, but no, I think Chera and Brayshaw, this showed a lot last year, so hopefully they can bounce back for the second half of the year. Speaking of youngsters who've been in the system for a bit longer, Mills and Heaney from Sydney. Would you take Mills or Heaney at this stage, and why?
I think Heaney. I think he can be more damaging up front. I think they can both. I think they'll both play midfield eventually, but I think Heaney's...
Can I ask you a different question?
Yeah,
are they delivering?
No, I don't think they're living up to the promise. I think Mills had a good season probably 2 or 3 years ago. They probably never lived up to the hype, but I think once the senior players start performing, I think they'll play better.
Just stagnated a bit, but they're still young, so we'll see how they go in the next year or two. Okay, well, we might move on to our round recap. I watched the Freo Essendon game as homework last couple of days, and yeah, it was yeah. I thought it was going to be a good game because it was close, but it was not good. It was low scoring. It was scrappy. They just couldn't kick for goals straight. If both teams could kick a bit straighter, it would have been a bit better, but they couldn't. And I don't know. No one could pick up the ball cleanly. They kept fumbling. It kept going under their legs. The only players that turned up with some touch were Tip and Woody, Stringer, and David Mundy for Freo. And the rest were really average. Dylan Shield was okay. He kicked a couple of late goals. And Merritt was good as usual. Fife, he didn't do too much. He should have been suspended anyway. Probably shouldn't have been playing. And yeah, that was about it. Otherwise, the Freo players weren't that good. Wilson did a few nice things, but that's, yeah.
Yeah, so you think, who was stood up when the game was in the balance? There's only 7 points the difference in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Mundy, that's an obvious one, but he was really good. He pretty much single-handedly kept them in it. But I also thought Ryan was good and Dooman was okay from the half-back line. For Essendon, Gulfy, I don't know how you say. He looks like Malfoy with his blonde hair. Yeah, he was really good. And also Mason Redmond shows some promise. He's got a really good kick.
You actually did watch it, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Oh.
Good study.
Did you watch a game?
Yeah, so I watched...
and it can't be Port, don't tell me. I know you watched a Port game, but don't talk about it.
No, we're banning Port and North recaps at the moment. So, I watched the Lions and the Crows game. So, I thought ironically Charlie Cameron, who Adelaide had to trade after that grand final a couple of seasons ago, that he was the difference. I think
he was good. He's good, isn't he?
Just all class, I thought.
Is he the best small forward at the moment in the game? When he's fit and playing?
Well, I heard someone say he could be better than Eddie Betts. So, I think...
That's a big call.
At his best, I think...
You can match him.
Maybe. Yeah, I think there's probably no one better than him at his absolute best when he's not injured or, out of form. So I think his pace and his class and his tackling pressure, I thought he was, just the difference in a close game. McStay was really impressive too. I thought he really stood up. I think, they really need him as the number one target. I don't think Hipwood's ready to be that number one key target. He's got to put on a bit of weight, and he's probably too young to do that.
He's still a bit inconsistent, Hipwood. How did Rayner go, speaking of?
I think it was 3 touches, so if he's not dropped this week, then...
might need a bit of a spell.
Might need a statement.
But Freo won, yeah? Yeah, so they're... I'm not Freo,
no,
Brisbane, sorry. The other game. So. Yeah, Brisbane, they won by a point, so they should play fine. Probably looking finals bound. Okay, we might move on from the recaps, and I might ask you about an underrated player you think that deserves more recognition. Top of your head, do you have one?
Connor Rosie? No. I think seriously, I think Jared Witt. Watched him over the weekend. Suns co-captain. I think a lot of people raised their eyebrows when he was named co-captain, but I think a big part of that was signing that 5-year deal. He's been a mainstay in that side for a couple of years now. Not getting the recognition, racking up the hit-outs, averaging over 45 a game at the moment, and 4 tackles. I thought he beat Lycett and Ryder, that tandem, over the weekend. So I thought he really beat that. And I really respect the guy as well. He did what kind of Boak did a couple of years ago when everyone was leaving. He signed that big long-term extension. So I think he's really underrated and should get talked about a bit more.
He's been really good.
I'll give you the...
I don't have any underrated or overrated. Maybe...
How about Isaac Smith?
Smith.
You think he's overrated or...
No. Can we talk about him next week?
We'll talk about him next week.
I might watch the Hawthorn game and then... Yeah,
we'll wait for him to get dropped.
We can talk about all Australians. Do you think Hugh McCluggage can make all Australia?
You love McCluggage, don't you?
He's a gun. You watched the Brisbane game, so how did he go?
Yeah, he was really classy. I think every time he touches the ball, something good comes from it. So they had that stat. You said that stat in Fox Footy the other day?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
So rated
something about goal involvement?
Yeah, goal involvement. So I think it's the scoring chain whatever the term they use. But they rated the top 5 midfielders in the comp, and he was one of them. So as a third-year player, he's doing... Yeah, really. I think you're a chance of getting him in, so you might win that bet at the tab.
Oh, nice. Should have put some money on it. What else? Taggers. They've been... drifting in and out of the game, I guess. But
So I think my one for All Australian, I think he's probably not a smoke. He should be a lock. I think
Ooh,
Matt De Boer.
taggers don't get in there, so there's probably no point.
Not since Ling, I think.
Yeah, I hope a tagger does get in because that's a whole different story. All Australian selection.
So
They put midfielders on the flanks. Yeah. Anyway, that's what do we got?
So we'll go to the best non-finals, non-flag footy memory. So Shahan, what's yours?
Mine was a mark. I think it was a mark of the year in '98. So what reminded me of this was this week's Liam Ryan mark. Did you see that one he took against?
Oh, that was you could see
Melbourne?
it coming from 10
Brian
seconds
Taylor
away.
actually called it beautifully, which is pretty rare for him to do. But yeah, he flew over Max Gawn actually, and then he was almost horizontal when he took it. And did he land on his feet? I can't remember. But yeah, he was in the goal square. He went back and kicked it. So that was a ripper of a mark. So it reminded me of a guy called Winston Abraham.
Flashback.
Who does... He sounds like an American president, doesn't he? But he's not. He's an indigenous footballer for the Kangaroos. And he took a great mark in '98. I think it was against Port Adelaide, yeah?
Where was it?
Monaco, I think.
Oh, was it in
Canberra?
Melbourne? Okay.
No, it was in Canberra, yeah.
Back
So that was a really good mark. So yeah, that was probably one of a memorable moment. But I also got to meet Winnie as well, back in primary school days. Have I told you about this story?
No, you haven't told me.
Okay, so I think it was '98 maybe when I was in year 4 or something.
Right.
We had this colouring in competition, and I think they just needed to narrow the kids down to take us on this clinic thing that the AFL were doing in back then Colonial Stadium, Marvel Stadium. I sort of spent time doing this drawing or whatever. Probably spent the whole week and didn't do my homework for that week. And then luckily enough, I got lucky enough to get picked out of 12 other people from the school. Yeah, like I think it was between year 2s and grade 5s or something. So I went. And then, got to meet Abraham. Shane Woden was there.
Brownlow medalist.
Got his autograph. We got posters, like a smoke-free poster thing. And then we went out on the field and, I gave Winston Abraham that poster. And he had a picture of him as well in the corner. And then he signed it and he looked at me. So that was awesome. That was like one of my childhood memories about footy. Do you have one? Do you have a similar thing or a game you've been to or anything?
Yeah, that smoke free worked as well. You haven't smoked, so that's good. Mine's a bit random. It's a Port Hawks game at the MCG back in '03. Went with the Hawks, friend of mine. So we were behind all day.
There's no name for this friend, so I don't know about.
Not friends anymore, so I'm not going to mention that one. No, but we were behind all day. It was a really scrappy game. We were just playing really average, and then we kind of came back towards the end. Choppy Pickett kicked the match winner with about 80 seconds left. So
it's ridiculous. They're the best games, aren't they?
Yeah. So I went home. Yeah, good train ride home. Just bragging to him all day when he was giving me crap the whole game until then. So.
No, close games are the best. I've been to a couple where we've been in Collingwood, and this seeing. I get more happiness seeing the opposition supporters angry than actually winning.
You're a nice guy.
So, I think this is our last segment, and this is sponsored as well by an unofficial sponsor, and you can do the honours introducing this.
So, I don't know if this is made up, but it's Shanika's restaurant, Italian restaurant in Berwick.
It's not made up.
So, we'll have to try it out there now. We might get a free meal now that we've plugged them.
Do they know about you?
That's a girl's name, Shanika with an I.
But there was one in Mount Waverley, but it closed down. So
I did it.
I think they're desperate for some sort of exposure, so the Berwick one doesn't close. Okay, so what's the hot take? Because that's what this is.
Yeah. So what's your hot take, Sean?
I'd rather do Shanika's hot take, sponsored by Shanika's Italian restaurant. Okay, no, my hot take is the mid-season draft. I think it'll come and go. I think we'll see it this year. We might see it next year as well. A couple of smart teams will select a couple of players, and those players will join their teams for the next season. Because I don't think you get selected in this draft on Monday, but they don't automatically get into the team. So, yeah, a couple of teams will sort of use it to their advantage or help, but they won't break any rules, but they'll just benefit from it. And the AFL will be like, oh no, it's not working. Sydney's gonna get stronger, and yeah.
So you think? Do you think? So I think they get paid if they don't play next year, right? If they get off the list at the end of this year, they get paid like 20,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I know the clubs they come from get reimbursed.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Do you like it?
I think wait and see is the best option. Just depends. I think if you're picking up players long term, then I think it could be good. If you're picking up players just for short term needs, then I think the list you have at the start of the year should cover it.
Yeah, because it's designed to sort of help teams that have injuries to replace a player. But it's not going to be, I don't know. Like Chris Scott from Geelong weren't happy about it, but that's because they just missed out on. Okay, I think that's it for today. Do you have a hot take or not?
No, we'll save. I did a few things this week, so
you're named by the sponsor.
I think I'm riding high on that. So.
All right, thanks for listening.
And we'll catch you on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. We'll plug it anyway.
See you guys.
See ya.